one of the things that delights me about MacDonald and Carroll is they both give the clear understanding as you read them that they have not forgotten what it's like to be a child in a way that, I suppose, would you be willing to entertain the idea that perhaps they even presaged what I would claim of the last 100 years is a very child-centric era relative to human history?
Yeah, and of course they lived in that era already. That begins really, in a sense, in the Victorian era, in which there's simply nothing. I mean, this is the great age of children's literature in Britain, especially since Britain, for whatever reason, has always produced the richest children's literature, and since that's a very high accomplishment indeed, it says something good about the British imagination or the British sensibility that writing for children could be such a high literary vocation as to produce books like The Wind in the Willows or the Alice books or the Winnie the Pooh books,
Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
it's funny, though. I mean, I don't know. So I wouldn't say they presaged it so much as were part of the first, let's say, the first full expression of a cultural moment that came into its own then. And of course, it was part of a greater social movement to end child labor and the imprisonment of children along with parents in debtors' prisons and other things of that sort, and also of any number of other social concerns of the time that were grounded in Christian sensibility of a very particular kind of not exclusively Anglican, but somehow oddly Anglican.
Would you care to elaborate for those of us who are?
Well, remember that this is also, the great age of Christian social thought in Britain in reaction to the industrial age. It's the period of, whether heterodox or orthodox. I mean, people like John Ruskin, but F.D. Morris, another friend of Lewis Carroll and George MacDonald, another Universalist, an Anglican theologian of extraordinary originality.
Can I interject briefly? For many people who are unfamiliar with F.D. Morris, if you go to look him up, his last name is spelled Maurice. Just as a Yes. Please continue.
The British still pronounce the name that we pronounce in the French form, Maurice, correctly as Morris, and that's true as a surname as well as a Christian name. So yeah, F.D. Morris, and others in the Christian socialist movement, and so a concern for the welfare of children as a spiritual and political and social issue was very much on the rise at the same time. And so this sort of deeper and serious concern for books for children, books about children in which children are the protagonists in a real sense, in a way that goes beyond the mere fairy tale, the good children, Hansel and Gretel or whatever. But instead, a figure like, say, Diamond in At the Back of the North Wind. There just aren't many child characters like that in the literature of the earlier period. I don't know how much I can add to it. I could just say that the 19th century was a period in the Anglophone world especially, but not exclusively there, because it was also a period in German culture when a sort of new sentimental cult of childhood was on the rise. When childhood became, something to be explored. In fact, we forget that until fairly recently in human history, childhood is barely recognized as a state unto itself. And there's certainly nothing like being a teen. I mean, you basically go from the age where you have to be protected and nourished to the age where you're expected to be performing an adult. You go into apprenticeship at an early age. If you're of that class, you'd be working the land from what we would consider fairly early childhood. But even in the entitled classes, we find it amazing when we pick up, say, Alexandre Dumas, and read him describing a 17th century character who announces he's a man on horseback. He's a fully independent chevalier, and he's 15 years old. So the notion of the gradual emergence from childhood into adulthood is a fairly late way of thinking about children in most of human history. And then what happens also in the 19th century is not only does the concept of childhood expand and deepen, but a certain inversion occurs between our sense of where wisdom is to be found and where it has been lost. It would never, in the ancient world, wisdom is the province of the old, not of the young. And that's still the case. The young are stupid, but childhood, let's say, comes before youth. The sense that in childhood, in the childlike, not the childish, the childlike, before pubescence, before the angst of teenage life and the self-deception that goes with it, there's a kind of original primordial wisdom that sees things as they are precisely because they haven't been clouded by concepts and expectations and the responsibilities that are heaped on our shoulders by the world around us. And so childhood becomes now a model of wisdom, a kind of critique of the absurdity. You see that in these Christian socialist figures, too. I mean, they see this sort of, there's a great deal of aestheticism there, how artists see reality, but also, a sense that children, too, are a kind of perennial critique of the folly and pomposity of adult life. And of course, that also within a Christian culture harkens back to images of Eden, and childhood becomes conflated in our mind with a state of innocence, of paradise, of a moment before we distinguish between good and evil,
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't need to. Everything was good,
Right.